bridge in this town. Excuse me, the sun's right in my eyes. They don't have a bridge in this town to cross the river with. So they have this little ferry punt thing that operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you want to cross the river, get on there and they take you across. A little town called Morgan in South Australia. So what you're hearing is birds from South Australia and dogs. I'm not sure if South Australian dogs sound much different to any others. The birds do. I'm sitting under a nice big old gum tree. I saw some mudlarks before. I'm not sure what else there is. I'm on a road trip at the moment. Driving from Victoria in the southeast of Australia over to the southwest of Western Australia. It's about a 3,700 kilometre journey. I drove 700 kilometres yesterday. Parrot. I don't know what sort. Can't see him properly. He's quite well camouflaged in the leaves. Town is rich with history, both from colonial settlement history and geological history. These rocks I'm sitting on, can you feel them? They're limestone. Shellfish, which means that it's formed underwater, usually ocean water, which means this rock was under the ocean one point in time, which is interesting because Morgan is, although it's on the Murray River, 500 kilometres or so from the nearest saltwater. That's very interesting to me. I find that a fascinating thing. That means the ocean was here. I'd like to find out a lot more about it. I haven't had a bit of a Google, but that haven't successfully found very much geological information about this area at all. I was here maybe 10 years ago, the last time, with one of my friends out across the river and up the road a little bit, and we found a shelf. A shelf of about 2 meters thickness, and the shelf was entirely made of shellfish. I spoke to the lady in the caravan park about it. She's lived here for 12 years or so, and she didn't know anything about it. But she did say she regularly finds fossils on her property. The cockatoos over there, that ghastly screeching sound. Sulphur-crested cockatoo. I don't have them where I live. We have the black cockatoo, which don't sound like that at all. You know what I haven't done since I've been here is I haven't dipped my toes in the Murray River. This, by the way, is the mighty Murray River. In Victoria, this river marks the state boundary between Victoria and New South Wales. This river runs from the ocean, the South Australian Ocean, the ocean off the coast of South Australia, and it runs right around to the ocean on the east coast of Australia. It's a very long river, actually. It must span somewhere in the order of, I don't know, must be over 1,000 kilometres long. You can Google that though. I'm going to say with a reasonable degree of honesty, I'm not going to go for a swim today. We're still coming out of winter and that water is pretty cold. When I say pretty cold, I mean it might be 12 degrees or so Celsius. Again, I haven't looked up any history on this town. I just know these little tidbits of information. And I'm guessing that from Adelaide they brought goods up to this point, and then from this point on they decided to ship it to the towns further up using different means, different vessels. It's a beautiful little town, and it's very historically significant for this area. I would hazard a guess that a lot of people haven't heard of the town of Morgan, to be honest with you. Today. Starting to get busy down here, as you can tell. Taking their dogs and kids for a walk. Traffic's starting to increase on the ferry. The chippies are already at work across the way there. Sound. It's amazing how much the landscape changes between central Victoria and here, which is eastern South Australia. We went through an area that you have to give up all your fruit and vegetables. Not allowed to carry fruit and vegetables through there because their entire economy is based on fruit and veg production, growth. Extremely fertile soils and good water source because they're near the Murray River, an area. It's called the town's called Berry. They do all the berry juices that are well known in Australia. Berry juice comes from the town of Berry. But there's a lot of almond production and produce in general across that area. It's nice red soil. The flora is they call it mallee scrub. I think the area averages something like 80 millimetres of rain per year, so the scrub itself is semi-sparse. The trees aren't particularly big, it's not very green. However, the soil is very vitamin and mineral rich, which is great for growing. All it needs is a little more water. And, you know, the Murray's right there, so they pump water from the Murray River and irrigate. They have terrific success in food production. And then as you go further on, you see how the soil changes because the mallee scrub becomes a lot thinner and a bit more desolate. And then after a while, you start getting large trees, large relatively speaking. Not like these ones over here, probably half that size. and that's where the water must be. There must be more water. And then you come to areas like this, where there's obviously lots of water, fertile soil altogether. The gum trees are grow freely. I'm sure it wasn't. It's not that it wasn't with the help of humans planting them. Certainly don't need much help now. What a life it is for a tree to live next to a river. Lifelong water source. There's a swan coming gently meandering up the river. It looks like nothing's happening, but they move. They're under the water. I just imagine these little feet just going. Well, that annoying sound. Not that one. So the high-pitched, loud dit-dit-dit-dit-dit is the mudlark. But slightly quieter is the miner. I wonder if the mudlark's got a nest in this tree, keeps coming back, checking something and then leaving. Feature of water is how it makes things sound much closer than they are. We've got another 8 hours of driving ahead of us today. So I've probably got to get back in. Things into the car. We're going to be driving from here, Morgan, across South Australia, not all the way across, we won't make it today, but we're going to drive across to a place called Ceduna. It's the last place where you can buy diesel for a reasonable price. You don't want to buy diesel driving across the Nullarbor Plain. It shoots from under $2 a litre up to almost $3 a litre across the Nullarbor Plain. We're lucky to have a 250 litre fuel tank, so we'll make it across there. It gives us a range of about 11 or 1200 kilometres. So we'll make it across mostly across the expensive section and won't have to fuel up until a little town called Eucla, which is just inside Western Australia, just across the West Australian border. The fuel there drops back down to $2.10 a litre or so. And then we stay somewhere around there. Next day we'll drive to Norseman, and then we'll fuel up in Norseman. That's the Eucla to Norseman's another 700 or so kilometres. what the bird life will be. But we're driving across the Nullarbor Plain, and the word Nullarbor means in Aboriginal, don't know which Aboriginal language, but it means in one of the Aboriginal languages of the area, it means no trees. It's not strictly true, there are trees there, but it's a lot drier and less life in general. But I'll meet you there along the way. Take it easy. I hope you sleep well.